Larry, and I'm down in the basement with Kenny Metcalf.
Don't tell anybody.
It is so good to see you.
It's nice to see. It's been too long.
It has been way too long. Okay. I mean, who doesn't know who Kenny Metcalf is? But I mean, look at him. Okay, this guy is the most awesome Elton John tribute, bar none, ever in the country. I don't think anybody, if there is another, I don't even know that there's another Elton John tribute out there. I've never heard of one. You're it.
Well, they're out there. I don't know who they are.
Well, it doesn't matter.
my band refuses to let me go on the internet, so I have no idea why they exist.
Well,
they just keep me off of it.
What's important is that you are like, I mean, there's nobody like you. You're incredible. I mean, how long have I known you? 5 years now?
Yeah, it's at least that.
At least 5 years.
At least 5 years.
Yeah, yes. Something like that. So, Kenny, welcome back. It is so good to see you. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a blast.
It is going to be a blast. So, so Elton John's touring this year, his farewell tour.
And we've been waiting.
We've been waiting. Yeah, so, and so, I mean, obviously with him on tour this year doing...
And I mean that in the nicest way. He's the farewell tour, so you know.
Yeah. But being that he is on tour and he's retired, I mean, this is, so must be a very busy year. I mean, you're always busy and traveling, but this got to be a really busy year for you because he's on tour. Yeah,
this year, well, every year we picked up steam and we've gotten more shows. And so him having the farewell tour, we decided to do the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour. And so we picked up a lot more of the Yellow Brick Road album and started putting it into our set as well. Excuse me. I even went in as far as to do the album cover costume of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which are they're literally shoes that go up to here. I had to go to a lingerie store to buy the right shape red shoes, and then I rhinestoned them and to look just like his shoes on the album cover. But we did the costume. It's a simple costume, it really is, but it's very iconic, and we even created the backdrop to go with it. Come on in, Larry.
Good. So more people are joining the party here, the rest of the band. So and that's part of what makes your show like so authentic and so unique is that I mean, if anybody's seen Elton John, I mean, you know that his outfits and his costumes are like part of the show, and that's part of the authenticity of the show and the care that you put into designing those costumes. I mean, I watch your Facebook, I see you every time you start designing a new costume or the shoes, and it's like, I mean, what is that like for you, and what goes into it? How does that whole thing come together? Because there's got to be a lot of planning about finding the right things to make that all come together and have that look.
It's definitely it's a labor of love. It really is, because Elton had his costumes made for him. I make Elton's costumes too, and so I'll find the materials. I'll go down into the deepest, darkest alleyways in Los Angeles where they sell all kinds of stuff like that, and I'll buy all the stuff, and then I have a cutter and a sewer that will make my costume, but I do all the blinging. So I buy all the materials that I need. I pick them out, and then she'll cut them, sew it. I'll bling anything that needs to be blinged. The shoes, I rhinestone them. They're one at a time. And same thing with the glasses. My Pinball Captain
Fantastic.
Well, the Captain Fantastic costume is a whole other one that I made, but it's the only one in the world that is authentic to the album cover. Other guys will put top hats on and long coat jackets, but mine is authentic to the actual album cover, down to the glasses. The care that it took for that. But for the movie Tommy, when Elton was in it and he did the Pinball Wizard, I actually recreated that costume down to the stilt boots, and I fabricated those. I fabricated the glasses out of sheets of plastic, cut them and formed them and shaped them, and then had my prescriptions put on them. So yeah, we try to keep it as authentic and set the bar high.
And you do. I'm kind of, does Elton know you exist? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, he does, actually.
Really?
Well, his guitar player, Davey Johnstone, knows I exist.
Okay.
Davey has sent us videos, or he sent us a video before we were on the TV show World's Greatest Tribute Bands for the very first time. He knew we were going to be on it, and he said, I'll be watching, and he did watch it. he the next day called Caleb Quay, Elton John's original guitarist, and asked him for a copy of the show because we had Elton's original guitarist before Davey, Caleb Quay, join us to close that TV show. And so Davey Johnstone was watching it at home and said, tell those boys they don't have to leave town. So we know from that standpoint that Davey's inner circle to Elton, he knows who I am. And we've even had...
I'm sorry, didn't they walk in on Elton watching the DVD?
Oh, well, that was with the Eagles of Death Metal, Jesse Hughes. My cousin just happened to end up at Jesse Hughes' house. He's the lead singer of Eagles of Death Metal, and that guy was Jesse Hughes was telling my cousin that Elton had invited him to the studio when he was doing his last album. Now I didn't know Jesse Hughes when he told this story, but he said that when he got in the studio, Elton was watching me on YouTube, and he liked the way I did the early years. So that was through the grapevine, through my cousin. And so 3 years later, I run into Jesse Hughes at the NAMM show in Anaheim. And I said, I started talking to him, and we had something in common, which was a pinball machine decking that was actually on his wall that my cousin brazenly said, I have to have that for my cousin. And that's where the conversation struck up about Elton. And it was a pinball wizard, pinball decking. And so he took it off the wall and gave it to my cousin. My cousin brought it home, gave it to me, and said it was from Jesse Hughes. So I asked Jesse Hughes at NAMM show, did you used to have a pinball machine decking? That was Captain Fantastic, or Pinball Wizard, yeah. And he said, yeah. And I said, I'm the guy you gave that to. And so he says, let me tell you a story. He goes, that used to be Elton John's. And he said, when he moved out of LA and sold his house, he said, I wanted that, and his entourage let me have it. So I actually have a pinball decking that used to belong to Elton at one point that was given to Jesse Hughes, which bolstered the story that Jesse was saying about meeting Elton John, and Elton was watching me. So it's still hearsay if Jesse Hughes was lying, but I don't really think he was.
That's pretty. That's a cool story. That is a very cool story.
It's just kind of a rare, weird rock twist.
Some people.
I have Elton John's pinball machine via Jesse Hughes, via my cousin.
That's cool. That's very cool. Okay. There aren't that many tribute people that have been around for a long time. You're what I call one of the original gangsters on the scene.
That's making me old.
Okay. Well.
No, that's okay. I'm not offended.
I just know. I'm like.
I'm still looking for Elvis.
Well, when you find him, let us know, okay?
He doesn't want to see me. I had one of his costumes torn up when I was 11 years old. So if he ever did, I don't want to pay him back.
How long have you been doing? I'm curious. How long have you been? Because I've known you for a minute here. Okay. How long have you been doing this?
9 years.
Okay. All right. And what made you do this? What got you started? I'm always curious about that. But I mean, because like now, currently the tribute scene is like very popular, and there are tribute bands popping up all over the place. But for like the guys like Queen Nation that have been around for 8 years, and you're around, it's like back, 8, 9, 10 years ago, the tribute scene is not what it is now. I'm always curious. It's like, what was the catalyst that made you do this?
Well, I actually had my chemistry set out, and I was pouring these different chemicals together, and they were smoking, and I could see it said, Tribute World, get involved. And it was like a light bulb. I'm kidding. I was actually laying in bed, and I was recovering from a disease that almost killed me. They had no cure for it, and I spent 3 years in bed after I got out of the hospital from death's door. And it was a miracle, with the fact that doctors took care of me with state-of-the-art medications. I'm still, I have been off every medication for 3 years now, which was, I was supposed to die from this disease, and it covered my body with open wound blisters, inside and out. I was decaying and dying, and so in the process of that, I was recovering, and spent 3 years in bed. And a friend came up to me and he says, you always kind of sounded like Elton. And he said, tribute bands are playing in the same kind of venues you played when you toured with Stryper in the 80s. In the 80s, I was a keyboardist for a metal band called Stryper.
Yeah.
And so The largest crowd I ever played for with Striper was 12,000 people, Six Flags Over Texas, an outdoor concert. I have surpassed that with this show headlining as Elton. But I played more shows as Elton John than I ever did with those guys as their keyboardist and Striper. So, but the friend got me out of bed, and I started putting a show together. I spent 12 months doing it, and going after the authenticity. And the band that I modeled it after for being authentic and how they did it was the Fab Four.
Wow.
Because the Fab Four, I had known them when they had first started, but I had no intentions of ever being a tribute at that point in my life. And other than the fact that a friend said, hey, you know, you could get out of bed and start doing something again. Maybe it'll be healing for you. So, so that was the direction that sent me going that way.
Wow, and it's been quite a journey for you ever since.
Yeah, it was not a mastermind plan to get into the tribute world, but it was to be the best at it. And that was my attitude. If I'm going to do this, I want to be the best at it in the world. I don't want to do it half-assed. And that was really part of it. So everything that I've gone after is that Fab Four model of, you know, from costume to performance, standing on stage, your delivery. You know, you don't break character at the end of the show. You introduce everybody. So anyways.
There's always something that happens in the basement whenever we do this.
And that's okay.
No, that's quite a story and quite a journey. And
but there's more.
Oh, there's more. Oh wait.
No, so okay, so 3 years. When the first year we launched the band, which was a year after, the Fab Four brought me into their show at Club Nokia, and there's video of that out there, and it was on John Lennon's 70th birthday, and from then people were filming us, and 3 years later I get an email from Katie Darrell from Access TV, the world's greatest tribute bands.
Yeah.
Season 1 had not happened yet, and asked on behalf of Mark Cuban and Ryan Seacrest if I wanted to be on the show. My buddies here that are the band, the early years band, they're also the Who generation, and they were on the world's greatest tribute bands season 1, and then season 7 again.
Wow.
And I got to guest appear as Elton in the Pinball was a costume with them. But we got discovered just from that. Laying in bed, get an email, and that they saw us on YouTube and picked us out of all the Elton tributes that they'd seen and gave us a TV show. 40 million viewers the first show, and that's where Caleb Quay, Elton's guitarist, joined me on stage to close the show. And then the second show I did was season 4, which was a Billy Joel Elton John show that he did, and that was a 90-minute special. So between the two, it's pretty much we have their backing. We have their support, their, not financial support, but it is because they really gave us all the video and all that free publicity. But that launched our band nationally, and it got us out of Southern California. Well, I tell you, we play less in our area
and all the way
and
to
more
Georgia.
everywhere else. Yeah, than those ghosts are haunting over there. So anyways, but yeah, so we get to do this. So it's like, you know, this blessing has followed me after everything that I've been through that almost killed me. So to get to do this is the most fun in the world, and it's to make people happy and watch them freak out and you know, reminisce for those that lived this, for generations that didn't see what it was like, because we try to go after it, be as spot on to the delivery, and that's you know, the guys that call themselves tributes, it's not just putting on a wig. It's, do you sound like them? Do you have every little nuance about it? And so, and I'm lucky with the guys that I travel with, that they have that same quality, that they want that perfection in what we do. So it separates us.
Yeah, definitely does, and you certainly set the bar way up there for others to, you know, live up to being authentic to the person that they're playing tribute to. Okay, it is awesome to see you.
Oh, thank you.
Looking forward to the show tonight. This is going to be awesome.
I'm going to be there.
He's gonna be,
They're going to be there.
They're all gonna
They're
be
all
there.
resting right now. They would look completely different tonight. Last night, they could have resembled The Who.
The Who, and they did.
And they did, actually.
And they did. They killed it. So this is Sherry in the basement of 37A with Kenny Metcalf, the most awesome Elton John tribute you will ever see. And for those looking to find you, how can they find you and see what you do and see when you're touring and when you're coming to their town?
Kenny Metcalf as Elton.com. You know, everybody has one of those. But Facebook, Kenny Metcalf as Elton, or just Kenny Metcalf. And we're on Twitter and Instagram, stuff like that. So
everywhere it matters.
Or just Google Kenny Metcalf. You'll find us.
So go look him up, because really it is an incredible show. Anyway, so this is Sherry with Kenny. Peace out. Bye.